How I built my mobile notary kit for less than $500. I see a lot of creators talk about this online, and I want to clear the record and set the record straight for you guys so you guys understand like, yo, it's not that much money. It doesn't cost that much. You don't need all these extra tools that they talk about sometimes, and you can really just jump into it. Don't let that $500 or money stop you from wanting to start your mobile notary business. If you stick to the end of the video, I will clearly explain what I did when I first started out, and hopefully you guys do. Most of you guys will probably click off because y'all are too attached to that dopamine. Your dopamine's just fried, man. But yeah, for those of you got that stick, I'll break it down for you. So I brought up some pictures and I want to show you guys like how simple all this stuff is. And I think a lot of you guys tend to like overthink it. And you kind of do those things where, so like when you play basketball, there's always the new kid that when he joins and he starts playing basketball, he wants to get all the freshest gear, all the nice gear, the nice Jordans, nice jersey. But the people that actually play basketball just throw on some shorts, a shirt, and some shoes. So when you first enter in the industry, what I'm basically trying to say is you want to get all the cool toys to feel like you're doing it. But let me go ahead and tell you that you don't need all that stuff. I'm seeing some stuff and I'm like, oh my gosh, all these tools. Like when I see other creators talk about it, all these tools, you don't need all these tools. When I start off, I didn't have all of that stuff. So don't let that be the reason as to why you can't start. So first off, when I first started, what I implore all of you guys to do is buy some polos. Get some polos. It should be pretty inexpensive. You got some here for $27, $36. You can get some even cheaper if I'm keeping it 100 with you. From Ross, Marshalls, TJ Maxx, get yourself some polos, some slacks, and some dress shoes. You can get all of that for less than 100, 120. Get some affordable but looks nice. So this is what I mean by business casual. It's just like a polo, some slacks, and some shoes. And this is what I wore to like every appointment. I didn't wear suits because I live in Florida and it would be way too hot for that. And I was on the move, but you still want to look professional, especially when you walk into people's houses. So first things first, and a lot of the notaries mess up here. They just wear some crazy stuff, man. I had one person that I was working with, they just wore some tights to the appointment. And that doesn't look professional at all. It doesn't make your customer or your client, whichever one you want to call them, feel good. Like when you just walk into somebody's house with some tights on to do some professional documentation, that doesn't seem like, it's kind of like, are you sure you know what you're doing type of vibe. So I was like, nah, I will never do that. So always wear business professional at very least. Ladies, for you, I'm not sure what that looks like. You just got to type in business professional. You have to type in business casual on Google and look at some examples. It's probably a little bit different for you guys, but I don't want to tell you something. So let's just look at that really quickly, what that looks like. So that business casual for a woman, and the lady was wearing tights. She was wearing tights. I was like, what in the world? So business casual woman. This is what you need to be wearing at very least, ladies. Not some tights, not a t-shirt, something. Let's say business casual for woman. Hopefully this breaks it down. There's two different types. You have business casual and then you have business professional. Just anything that doesn't look crazy. It doesn't have to be a whole suit jacket. Just some nice slacks and I guess a sports blazer, or I don't know what that even looks like for you guys. But here it goes. Casual, business casual, and formal. Throw some business casual on. For fellas, it's easier to tell you guys, just throw on a polo. It's a lot easier for us. So what I had, like I said, is I started off with a polo. Next up, I had a zip-up clipboard. Very simple, very straightforward. I didn't even think I had to buy one of these. Honestly, this is what I had. I had a zippered pad folio, but if I were to go back in time, I would just get a clipboard like this that opens up, like this one right here. It opens up. It's heavy duty, and you're able to put the client's documents in it. So let's say they wanted you to print it out ahead of time. You would go ahead and put their documents in here. So when you show up, you could just open up their documents and do what you need to do. Shout out to my books over there. But yeah, just get these. You can put your staples in it. You can put your paper clips in there. You can put your pen in there. And then all you need to do is walk into the appointment with this and your notary stamp. And you can put all of this stuff in a bag if you'd like to, but it's not necessary to do it. But like I said in the beginning, I didn't have that, and I was working on little money, so I just had pad folio here with the pen. I had my stamp, and I had this here in case people needed some sticky notes, and I just zipped up the papers in here that I was notarizing. But like I said, get this clipboard, this portable clipboard instead. It'll be much nicer. So we got your men business casual, and you got your clipboard. Moving on to the next thing is business cards. I would recommend going to like a Walgreens. Walgreens is a lot cheaper to do these sometimes. I think you can get like 10 for 100 at Walgreens. But if you're online, you can just use Vistaprint. Vistaprint, you got them for 50 starting at $9.99. I had my business cards. So anytime I went to somebody's location, I would leave a business card with them. Hindsight, I would tell you guys to get your business card, and when you leave it with them, leave like some sort of value proposition there for them. So like leave your business cards and say, hey, anytime you guys call me again, I'll give you guys 10% off on your next notary appointment, or 20% off on your next notary appointment. Just something to get the business back. But I had my business cards, I had my my clipboard, my Padfolio, and then I just kept it moving. Like I said, I kept it super straightforward. Ballpoint pens, very self-explanatory, guys. Get yourself a ballpoint pen. Uline has them for $15. You don't need to pay that much for a pen. That's crazy. Take yourself to Walmart. Sorry, allergies. Take yourself to Walmart. Get you some pens. Move on to the next thing. I shouldn't even have to show pens, but just so you guys have a full extent of it. This is exactly what I had. This Papermate ballpoint pen. Anytime I need to sign. Oh, my goodness. Next up, I had my stamp, which obviously you need. This is the exact same one that I had. Literally same brand, same color. I had a pink stamp. Don't ask me why. Excuse me. And then I had a printer. So with the printer, this one has 2.6. Honestly, when I was first starting off, I didn't know the difference between the inkjets and the laser jets. I think a lot of people say the laser jets are better, especially when you're printing out more documents, especially if you're doing loan signing. But when I started off, and I was printing papers for clients, I just needed a printer. So I was like, bro, I don't know the difference. Let me just take my butt to Walmart and buy one of the cheapest printers I can. And I'm being real. That's what I did. I'm just being real, just to show you guys, like, you don't have to drag the process on you getting started because you think you need all these tools. I was like, I went to Walmart. I'm like, all right, what's the cheapest printer y'all got here? Does it print in color? Okay, cool. Because I already knew that some clients were going to email me the documents ahead of time, like their power of attorneys and stuff like that, and I need to print it. And I wasn't going to keep going to Kinko's because I'm like, Kinko's and, like FedEx, it's expensive to print. By the time you finish printing a packet of papers, you could have bought a printer and some ink for like the month. So I was like, let me just get a little cheap little printer. So I got me a little inkjet from Walmart. You got one here from Office Depot Max. This one only has 2.6 stars. But if you look at the price, this $37.99, this shows you how cheap it is. This shows you how cheap this stuff is. And then, printer paper is not going to be that expensive either. But I'm showing you guys all of this to really drive home the point that you don't need to have all these tools, right? To start off. You don't need to have all those tools. But what you do is as you start getting better, as you start making more money, you want to reinvest that money back into the business. So let's say you start off with a cheap printer. When you're offering printer services or printing services to people, add on a tax. Add on, we can print out the documents. We can bring it for you for $5 to $10, whatever the price is. And that's going to be a little add-on service that you could have for yourself. But you want to do that, save the money up, and then you buy yourself something else better. Because the name of the game is, when you start your business, and this is something I highly recommend, and let me switch the camera over. When you start your business, it's very important that you keep track of everything that you're spending money on. Super important. The reason you do this is because you want to become profitable as fast as possible. Well, what can you do to make all that money back? So if you go back over here and you see that I have that printer here for $37.99, you want to add that. You want to add your pen. You want to add that $10. You want to add how much you paid for this clipboard, $16. You want to add how much you spent on clothes specifically for the notary job. And then when you have all of that, you want to keep track of that in an Excel sheet. And every time you get a job, you want to put your expenses, everything that you spent to get started, and everything that you've made for the business. Because as soon as you become profitable, that's when you know, like, okay, now I'm in the green. And that's why when you first start off in different businesses and stuff like that, you shouldn't really create and this is for entertainment purposes only. I have to say this disclaimer. Wouldn't recommend starting an LLC off straight out the gate, because you want to keep your expenses down and you want to make sure that this is like actually a business that you're going to stick to. So don't go crazy buying all this cool stuff and not even use it. Don't be the new kid on the basketball court that has all the latest clothes, but you only play ball for like 1 week. You know what I'm saying? Like, make sure that you can stay consistent in this business. This is something that you actually see yourself doing and you actually start making money. And then when you make money, Then when it starts becoming more consistently, you reinvest those profits back into the business and upgrade your tools. So now instead of just having this clipboard, now you got a bag, you got a little satchel that you could put it on, that you could put your stuff in. You could put your pen in there, you could put your notary stamp, your clipboards, all of that stuff. You could go ahead and just put directly in your bag because now you can afford that. And all you try to do is just stay in the green. You want your profit margins to be high. So don't just buy a whole bunch of stuff straight out the gate. Now, when you have more money, you can buy a better printer. You can buy a better ink, a laser jet printer now. Something that can print more documents, save more ink, and now you can do a lot more loan signings, which have like big packets of papers. But just reinvest that money back into yourself as soon as possible. But don't worry about like, oh, I got to spend all of this to become a notary. No, y'all. Don't listen to these other creators out here. Don't listen. Everybody's just doing it just because, and they want you to think that you need to do that starting off because they're trying to just make some money, which I understand. I don't knock anybody's hustle. Don't get me wrong. I have a list of tools that you can buy too, but I'm saying when you first start off, you don't need all that stuff yet. You don't need all that stuff, and you want to be as cheap as possible unless you're investing into things that can get you back a direct return. Like knowledge, for example, not me, but like actual knowledge. That's kind of funny. But anyways, invest into things that get you back a direct return, and don't waste your money on all these little things until you start making money and until you start becoming more consistent with your stuff. Like I said, these creators are trying to make money, so when they do this, it's just a whole bunch of like affiliate links, and they say, oh, you need all this stuff to start off. No, you don't. You don't need all that stuff. Get the bare minimum that you could use to provide a great service. And then you move on. Worry about getting more clients now. Worry about getting more clients and then reinvest it into the business. And always try to stay in the green. Always stay in the green. If you're going to make a risk to take you out the green, you need to know, okay, this is a calculated risk, and I know this risk has the potential of bringing me out money. Going from one printer to a better printer doesn't necessarily bring you back more money. Or getting a $2 pen and getting a $30 pen doesn't necessarily bring you back more money. Or getting this one clipboard that can only hold one sheet of paper to this clipboard that can hold 50 sheets of paper doesn't necessarily get you back a lot of money. You see what I'm saying? But now, all right, I'm going to invest $500 into running these ads, or $500 into these flyers that I know I'm going to pass out. Those have the potential of bringing you back in more money. So the thing that you spend money on needs to bring you back a return. So starting off, these don't really bring you back a direct return all the time. They're just more so ease of business. It makes things easier to do, which is not a waste because you only buy things whether they inspire you to do better business. They has a direct impact in bringing you back more business or make you more comfortable. So those three things are necessary. But when you're starting off, just focus on what's going to bring me back business right now. Start off like that. I promise you'll save a lot of money. You'll save a lot of time. And it's just better overall for your pockets. We're trying to make you guys money consistently, not like burn your pockets with all the latest notary gadget gear. Well, like, what the hell? Like, you don't need all that stuff starting off. You're stamping papers. But anyways, I try to keep it real for you guys. It's coming from your business bro knowledge. Let me know if you guys have any questions. If you want to do a one-on-one, hop in the comments below. Book that one-on-one call. Chop it up with me. I'll help take you from 2 to 5K plus in your notary business. If you're experienced or if you're new to the notary business, doesn't matter. Click on it, tap in with your boy. Let me know. I have a free notary bundle that you can go ahead and download, give you tools that you need to start. And when you like those tools and you want some more tools that you can actually use even better, like having a phone script to call or having like an email blast or having a list of 300 signing services, buy that other kit. Stop being cheap. Help your brother out. No, I'm joking. But go ahead, get that kit. It'll give you some tools that you need. And yeah, don't make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification. Peace, love, and your boy knowledge is out.